Welcome to Dodgers Daily. I'm Casey Porter. I'm so glad that you decided to tune in. It was a good day in the system last night. Went 2-3, but if you had to choose the two wins that you'd like to have the most, you want them at the highest levels, and that's what you got. You got a win with Los Angeles at the Major League level, then a win at the AAA level with Oklahoma City, then the three lower-level teams, AA, Tulsa, High Great Lakes, and Rancho, they all lost. So, hey, if you're going to only have two wins and you're not going to have a winning record, you will certainly take those two wins at the top. So a lot to get to today. There's a lot of great action in the system. But before we get to all that, just a reminder, if you'd like to help Dodgers Daily, we have a link in our description to our GoFundMe account. So if you click on that, you can go right there and donate and help Dodgers Daily. Also, hey, keep liking these videos, keep leaving comments, keep sharing these videos, tell all your friends about Dodgers Daily. The more these videos get interacted with, the more YouTube thinks they're popular, the more they get suggested, and the more views they get, and the more we grow, and the more we can keep providing content like this in the future. So, hey, a lot to get to at the Dodgers game. Great performance for Michael Grove last night. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get right to it, and let's talk Dodgers baseball. So the Dodgers are 55-39, just a game and a half over the Giants, who have been playing very good baseball for about a month and a half, 2 months now, playing good baseball again. And then the D-backs, they are 2.5 games ahead of them. D-backs have fallen back quite a bit. If you remember, they had, I believe, a 4-game lead just a couple of weeks ago over the Dodgers, and the Dodgers really used that stretch where the schedule was favorable to them right before the All-Star break to dent into that and actually win into the All-Star break, percentage points ahead in the standings, and have extended that to, again, a game and a half over the Giants, 2.5 over the D-backs, and the Padres 10.5 out of first place. And hey, starting, last year you get the three wild card teams in the playoffs, and added extra wild card team. So my question today is, leave your answer in the comments section. Okay, the Padres are 10.5 games back of first place. They're not going to win the NL West. I think that's pretty safe to say. Of course, you never know. I mean, crazier things have happened, and there's still time. And the Padres, as we all know, are very talented. But 10.5 games back, having to jump three teams ahead of you to win the NL West, that would be tough. So the Padres probably not going to win the NL West. But my question is, with the three wild card spots, will the Padres still make the playoffs? Leave me a comment. Tell me what you think about that. Last night, the offense for the Dodgers, it was explosive. No doubt there was a 5-spot and a 4-spot. And the thing about it was there was only one home run by Heyward. Of course, that was the home run that got everything started. And then he just had the double. And then it was typical Dodgers type of offense after that, drawing walks. And then you had a couple of singles. So it wasn't just, hey, let's hit home runs or bust last night. You did kind of what the Dodgers offensive formula is. You did hit a home run, you did hit a double, but you grinded the pitch count really well, and you drew a bunch of walks, and you scored 5 in one inning, 4 in another, and ended up having a good offensive night in terms of runs produced. So here's an example of what I'm talking about. Second inning, you had a walk, you had a single, you had a home run. So that's called 2 bloops and a blast. Hey, we need a bloop and a blast. That's good baseball. Hey, if you're going to hit home runs, it's definitely better to have a walk in front of it, a hit in front of it, because solo home runs a lot of times don't beat teams. Then the 7th inning, you had 5 walks and a single to put up the 4 spot there. So good offense for the Dodgers. That's called taking what the opponents give you. The Dodgers were good enough and disciplined enough to take the walks when they were there, to not chase the zone, and because of that, they had a good night offensively scoring runs. In the 8th, they had a double and a single. So again, a good night offensively. How good has the pickup for Jason Heyward been for the Dodgers? Of course, if you remember, he was signed to a minor league contract. Although he was signed to a minor league contract, I don't think the Dodgers ever, realistically considered starting him at the minor league level, and he has been very, very, very good. He went home run last night for the 9th time in 2023. He got the scoring started for the Dodgers. I always talk about getting that lid off and getting a lead. The Dodgers are so good. Every team in the major leagues, you would be just absolutely shocked at the statistics of how much better teams are when they get a lead versus when the other team gets a lead on them. So getting that lead early is very, very, very important. Jason Heyward did that for the Dodgers last night. How about this? Jason Heyward is hitting .316 in his last 15 games. His OPS during that stretch is .900, and he has hits in 2 of his last 3 games. So the last couple of weeks, plus some. Jason Heyward has been just absolutely fantastic. Offensively, he's always very good. On defense, great athlete, great clubhouse guy, and obviously best friends with Freddie Freeman, so he has fit right into the Dodgers clubhouse and to the culture. Okay, the home run last night was hit 104.9 miles an hour, and it traveled 414 very happy feet. So great job, Jason Heyward, getting the party started for the Dodgers last night. So Jason Heyward hits the home run, and then it's still pretty early in the game, and then Doc takes him out of the game, and it's like, that was kind of a head-scratching type situation, but actually, if you peel back the layers, it made a whole lot of sense. Okay, Jason Heyward on the year has not been good against lefties. Matter of fact, he's been just downright bad. 0 for 12 against lefties with 5 strikeouts. That was his track record this year. And then also, you had a 5-0 lead. Jake Marisnick was brought over to the Dodgers to be that defensive replacement guy. Now, I know it was early in the game, but it was the perfect situation to get Heyward out of a matchup that's not favorable for him, and then get your defensive replacement in the game with a 5-run lead, which is substantial, which ended up holding up. So, hey, although it kind of looked like, well, Heyward just hit a home run, what are we doing? Why are we bringing in pinch hitting a guy, that's career not been a great offensive player? So although on the surface it looked a little bit interesting, it actually made sense whenever you dive into the reasons why that move happened. Unfortunately for Jake Marisnick, he had to leave the game due to injury, and we'll have to see how that ends up. But if he goes on the 60-day IL, here is what could happen for the Dodgers. That allows the Dodgers to put somebody else on their 40-man without having to DFA anybody. That somebody else, I know that people have been clamoring a lot lately about Devin Mann. He hit the home run the other night. He had another good game last night. We're going to talk about him here a little bit later in the podcast. That would allow the Dodgers to put Devin Mann on the 40-man roster without having to DFA anybody. So as far as the immediate aftermath of Jake Marisnick being hurt, the first thing that's going to happen is Johnny DeLuca is going to be put back on the 26-man roster, and he is going to travel and be on the Major League club. And then we'll see from there if they actually put Devin Mann on the 40-man if the 60-day hits. And then we'll also see what the Dodgers do with Michael Busch. So we'll have to monitor it. We'll have to see, but those would be the scenarios, at least the most likely that I could see happening. How good is Freddie Freeman? I mean, this dude is just Hall of Fame in every single which way. His defense is good. His offense is just unbelievable. He's an incredible human being. He's from Southern California. There has never been a guy, in my opinion, and I know it was a tough breakup for him from the Braves, but there's never been a guy that was meant to be a Dodger and to be great in a Dodger uniform than Freddie Freeman. He had 3 hits last night, including his league-leading 34th double. Of all the things we talk about Freddie Freeman, you forget that he hits so many doubles. 34, as a matter of fact, that leads the league, and that is just unbelievable. He's hitting .323, Freddie Freeman is. His OPS is .963 on the year. Again, just an elite offensive baseball player. Those numbers, both his batting average and his OPS, are good enough for third in all of Major League Baseball. He has back-to-back 3-hit games, Freddie Freeman does. He has 3 3-hit games just this month, and he has 9 games in total this year where he has at least 3 hits in a game. So, again, Freddie Freeman, totally elite. Well, how about the big game for Will Smith last night, the best catcher in baseball? 4 hits, and he is 6 for his last 9. Will Smith is. Smith is hitting .295 so far in July, and he has 20 multi-hit games on the year. And the thing about it is, with all the catching, especially with all the velo the Dodgers like to have with their pitching staff, it would be easy to wear down. This is the hottest time of the year. That last week of July, first week of August is literally the 2 hottest months of the year, and we're approaching that. I know in Oklahoma, it's been over 100 degrees on several different days lately. So very hot time of the year, a time where catchers tend to wear down. Not Will Smith. Having a great month of July. This young man is just a fantastic young player. The thing is, with Dalton Rushing and Carson Taylor, Hunter Fiducia, Diego Cartaya, all this catching depth, and then Max Muncy, I know he has an option next year. Here's another question. Do you go ahead and start playing Will Smith at third base more? And not only, hey, maybe to give Max Muncy a spell against matchups that he's not great at. I know Muncy's His batting average is just not good at all this year. The OPS is pretty good. So do you just start moving Will Smith on a team that could win the World Series this year? Do you play him some at third base, not only, hey, maybe to get better matchups and Muncy, give him some games off for this year in the short term, but also in the long term, preparing for how you're going to make space for all of your catching prospects coming up in the future? Good question. Leave me what you think about that situation in the comments below. James Outman had 2 hits last night. Man, I love this guy. We saw the catch the other day. That was his 20th multi-hit game of this year and the 40th multi-hit game since the beginning of last year. So he's likely to go maybe over 50 multi-hit games in the last 2 years combined, which is a AAA level and a Major League level. That's pretty awesome. Okay, so he's 5 for his last 13, James Outman is, and he has been on base. Try this on for size. He's been on base 11 times in the last 5 games, and with the type of speed that James Outman has, when he gets on base, he's one of the guys that can steal bases. He's the guy that can, we saw last night, he scored on a base hit and made it look easy. He can take the extra base. He is the exact type of base runner the Dodgers need. So when he's getting on base 11 times in 5 games, that is a really big factor positively for this Dodgers offense. And because of that, James Outman has scored 4 runs and has had 6 total bases in that stretch of games that I was just talking about. And then also adding to that, the great play that he made up against the wall. So James Outman has been playing very good as of late, needs to keep it up. How about Michael Grove last night? Moving to the pitching aspect of it. Hey, Michael Grove, the performance before, he went 6 innings. He gave up the 4 runs, but if you remember, he got just a routine double play ball hit to Yanni Hernandez, who just kind of looked awkward throwing it to second, and then they didn't finish the double play. And of course, you can't assume a double play, so any run after that's not an error. So any run after that is considered an earned run. Then Shohei Ohtani hit the 2-run home run, which was unfortunate. Of course, that's on Grove for giving up the home run. But if at the Major League level, if you execute a routine double play, he would have went 6 innings, only 2 runs in that game. Then last night he goes 5 innings. I know he is frustrated that he didn't go the 6 innings because that's kind of a benchmark in the sense that if you go 6, Doc only has to map out 3 innings, 3 pitchers, 1 inning apiece. Whereas if you go 5, he either has to map out 4 pitchers or 3 with 1 that goes 2 innings or some sort of combination of that. So it complicates a little bit. So Grover, I know he was wanting that 6 innings. He was frustrated with himself that he didn't get the first 2 outs of the 6th inning, but Yency Almonte came in and did a very good job behind him. So if you look at Grove's last 2 performances, he's gone 11 innings, and if you turn a routine double play, which the Dodgers should have against the Angels, he would have only given up 3 runs in those 11 innings. That's pretty darn good. It also goes to show, hey, you got to give people time to get comfortable at the Major League level. I think, more so than just the results, and Grove hit on this last night, if you just look at his mannerisms. A month ago, I even mentioned on a podcast, it looks like he was throwing the ball to home plate, hoping that good things would happen. Right now, he's expecting it, and he's frustrated when good things aren't happening. That's the competitive side of it. That shows you he's getting comfortable. That shows you that his confidence has grown to the point to where now, instead of hoping for success, he expects success. So, hey, let's all hope that Michael Grove continues to throw like he has been throwing the last 2 outings, and a big part of it, he's added that cutter, and the reason why that's big is he has not been good against lefties this year. Matter of fact, he's been bad. The batting average going into last night against lefties for Michael Grove had been over 300. So having that left turning, just kind of cutter type pitch, that's hard to identify. It gets right up underneath their swing, and it stays a strike. That's a big one too. That cutter has really helped him get lefties out last night. The Orioles had 6 lefties in their lineup, so it looked like it was going to be a terrible matchup for Grove, and he just mowed them down at a pretty good clip. Worked around some trouble. I was very proud of him after O'Hearn had the 13-pitch walk in the 2nd inning. Then he got the fly out. Then he gave up a double. He had a runner on third base, 1 out, and he just buckled down, got out of that, and didn't give up a run from there on. So great job, Michael Grove. Super proud of him, and boy, if he can keep pitching like he is right now, that would be an added bonus. even if it's not staying in the starting rotation with Ryan Pepio coming back, Clayton Kershaw coming back, even if it's in, a 2-3 inning long relief, middle inning type relief role, or in the bullpen games, if he can keep pitching like this, that's a huge positive factor for the Dodgers. Yency Almonte was the fireman last night after Michael Grove started the 6th inning and couldn't get the first 2 guys. Yency Almonte came in, 2 runners on, nobody out, and he went to throwing that sweeper that is so good. He went to throwing his slider and his 4-seam. Matter of fact, he had a 67% whiff rate on his sweeper, which is just a little bit more horizontal. His slider gets a little bit more depth, and he landed his 4-seam 75% of the time for strikes, and that was in crisis mode. So he knew he had to come in throwing strikes with his fastball, then he had to have swing and miss type sweeper, and that's exactly what he had. And that was a great combination that allowed him to get out of the inning with no runs scored, stranding the inherited runners, and the big deal to that, at least for a prospect guy like me, it allowed Michael Grove to stay at just the 1 run in the 5 innings. How about Yency Almonte? He has just absolutely turned it around. He has gone scoreless in 13 outings in a row. So if Yency Almonte and Alex Vesia, we've said this all year, if those 2 guys get it turned around, which they have in the last month, this Dodgers bullpen is a completely different bullpen as we've seen in the last 2-3 weeks where it's been very, very good. So the upcoming schedule, you have 1 more game in Baltimore, then you swing down at Texas, who is having a very good year. I will actually be at that game on Sunday. Very excited about that. Then you get to come home for a long time. You have a 9-game homestand at Dodger Stadium, and then you get to go to San Diego, which is just, a hop, skip, and a jump south of Los Angeles. So you're going to get to sleep in your own bed for quite a while. Of course, when you're in San Diego, you probably won't, but you're going to get to come home and be in Southern California for a long period of time after this 4-game stretch. Big 4-game stretch coming up. Hey, couldn't finish off the sweep against the Mets, although Bobby Miller had the great performance in Game 3 of that series over the weekend. Need to finish off this. Hey, Baltimore is that up-and-coming team, and a lot of times when you shock that type of team that's up and coming and not necessarily used to having success in the recent past, it will stun them, keep them stunned long enough to get out of Baltimore with that sweep, go down to Texas, win a couple of games, and come home and get ready to have that 9-game homestand against Toronto and the Reds and the A's. And then go to San Diego. So, hey, some fun times ahead. This was a road trip this is the road trip that I kept saying before the All-Star break, got to get back into first place or close, because after the All-Star break, your schedule is on the road against, of course, the Mets aren't good this year record-wise, but we know they're very talented. But Baltimore is very good. Texas is very good. But lo and behold, so far you're having a great road trip. You are 4-1 right now, and all you need to do is win 1 more game out of the last 4 to have a winning road trip in this 9-game, 3-city trip. So, hey, it's been good baseball. Got to keep playing good baseball because, again, the Giants are nipping at your heels. Just a game and a half back. So are the D-backs, 2.5 back. So, hey, that's our talk on the Dodgers for the day. So time now to transition into the minor league action from last night. So let's not waste more time. Let's get right to it, and let's take a trip down the farm. The AAA Oklahoma City Dodgers, they had a huge night offensively. They had 4 guys that had multi-hits last night. They took down the El Paso Chihuahuas. This is, of course, Michael Busch. He had 2 hits again last night, including his 13th home run of the year. Busch has 3 home runs in his last 5 games. He has 5 home runs in his last 10, and he has 6 home runs total this month. So, hey, if Marisnick goes on the 60-day, that opens up the 40-man slot, and then Johnny DeLuca will take Marisnick's spot on the 26th, and then I would suggest at that point, if Chris Taylor can stay healthy, you have Chris Taylor that can play shortstop, you have Mookie Betts that can play shortstop, and then obviously Miguel Rojas. I would suggest at that point you bring up Michael Busch in place of Yanni Hernandez. But that would just be my suggestion because Michael Busch has just absolutely been stroking. That's not anything a knock against Yanni. Yanni has been a great player at the AAA level as well. I just think Michael Busch has absolutely earned that promotion, and I think he's earned it to stay at the Major League level, whatever role they can work out. Let's go ahead and break his swing down right here. Here is Michael Busch from the open face side, and look at how balanced. Look at his head's right slotted to the back side of his body, which he's diving into that hip right here. So he's slotting that head with that back hip, and then eventually that back elbow, you'll see as he makes contact, will line all up perfectly. See what I'm talking about right there? His head and his back hip, they go first. Okay, head, back hip, they're slotted perfectly. And then as he comes to contact, that back knee, that's going to match up, and you're going to make a perfect line with the head, shoulder, back hip, all the way down to your back knee, and that is what's called leverage. And Michael Busch, that's one of the reasons why he is such an elite offensive player. Look at how balanced and how well slotted his body is right here. Okay, and so let's get and watch his hands. They're a 0 degree slot right there. And so from the left side, watch his hands come and turn the barrel. He's turning the barrel up in the front of the zone right there. But from the back right here, okay, to there, that is flat. And then at the top of the zone, lift at the front. That's where you get your power. And that's why he was able to hit that home run. So hopefully that now you kind of have an understanding of how well balanced and how well leveraged Michael Busch's swing in is. And that combined with the perfect hand path that he uses with his swing. And that's why he is such a good hitter. And one of the reasons why I'm so high on him. Little disappointed myself. Miguel Vargas had 4 hits last night, but I used the 2 base hits that were probably the weakest hit. He also did have a double that was hit 104 miles an hour, and he also had a 29-degree single, because the question was, well, hey, were all of his hits little dribbling ground balls that were hit 90 miles an hour? No, they were not. I just happened to use those 2 on my video because I had so many different things going on last night. Michael Grove and Yency Almonte, the big game from James Outman, and then Nick Robertson finishing at the major league level, plus the 4 affiliates. I had those 2 already in the can, so I didn't go back and get the next 2 hits for him. But, hey, he did have 2 other hits that were more impressive than that. So Miguel Vargas, good to see him have 4 hits on the night. How many people can say that they hit a home run in their first at bat of a game, then a walk-off in their last? That's what Ryan Ward did last night for AAA Oklahoma City when he hit home run number 10, and then he walked it off in the bottom of the 9th inning for AAA Oklahoma City. Wardo has back-to-back multi-hit games. He has 3 multi-hit games this month, and this has been the best month of the year for the Millbury, Massachusetts native Ryan Ward. So another option, I've talked about Devin Mann going on that 40-man if Jake Marisnick goes on the 60-day, nobody having to be DFA'd. So your question is, do you leave Yanni Hernandez up at the major league level? Do you bring Michael Busch up, or do you bring Devin Mann up? Devin Mann played shortstop last night, which I think Yanni Hernandez got the nod for that last spot on the 26 because he can play shortstop. But if Devin Mann can play shortstop like he did last night, and he looked good doing it, that makes him just that much more marketable and makes the Dodgers think about bringing him up that much more. So it'll be interesting to see what the Dodgers do with that last spot if they just leave Yanni Hernandez on there, if they consider Devin Mann, now that they're going to have maybe a window to get him on the 40-man without DFAing somebody. Now they can get actually serious about bringing him up to the major leagues because, like I said, you don't have to risk losing anybody to do it. Devin Mann had 2 hits, and he's hitting .315 on the season. His OPS is .978, and he has hits in 5 games in a row, and he leads the PCL in doubles. So what Devin Mann is doing is, it's called, controlling what you can control. He is the one guy, him and Michael Busch, that have deserved promotions more than anybody else in the organization. And he doesn't complain. He doesn't even look at it that way. He realizes all of those factors are out of his control. What he said to me was, the only thing I can do is control what I can control, which means show up and play well every day. And that's exactly what he's done, Devin Mann. AA Tulsa struggled to score last night. They only had 7 hits and 2 runs. Again, I've talked about them being one of the teams that's been the most negatively affected by all the moves. Upwards over 150 transactions for the Dodgers this year. But hey, how about Cody Hosey, the 2019 first-round draft pick? Stay hot, Cody. He hit home run number 6 last night, and he has home runs in 2 games in a row. And he's hitting .306 so far in July. His OPS this month is .964, and he's 27 for his last 90. I talk about all the time. He had the oblique strain in 2021, just never got into a groove after that. If you've ever had any kind of issues with an oblique, trying to hit Double-A pitching with that type of injury is very, very difficult. Then last year he had a couple stretches where he got hot and then got hurt again. So, hey, he's been healthy all year this year, and it's showing because he is starting to get in a very, very very good groove. Cody Hosey. Emil Vargas, one of the most underrated offensive baseball players in the minor leagues. Justin Yurchak's another one. And then I know Austin Brubaker talked about Austin Gothier as well. Very, very underrated offensive baseball players. Vargas went big fly last night for Double-A Tulsa for the 13th time this year. So he's known for his on-base percentages. He led the Midwest League for a year and a half in on-base percentage. But, hey, adding good power to his game this year at the Double-A level. Vargas also has hits in 5 games in a row and 8 out of his last 10. So this is Kyle Hurt right here. He went 5 innings last night, gave up 2, had 6 strikeouts and 2 walks. But the thing about him, he has some of the best stuff of any pitcher in the organization. There is a 4-slot fastball. His 4-seam has reached as high as 99. There is that 4-seam right there, up in the zone. So you saw the 4-slot down the zone. You saw the 4-seam up. That's reached as high as 99. Now to a lefty, he can throw that changeup, which takes that right turn. There's 2 changeups back-to-back. And then to a right-hander here, you're going to see on this pitch, he can throw the slider. So that is a great combination for Kyle Hurt, especially when he can throw as high as 99. And, hey, growing up in Southern California, his dad being an old Division I baseball player, football player, I should say. He went to Ole Miss and played football in the SEC for the Rebels. His dad played in the NFL. They are huge human beings. They had him play every single sport imaginable growing up in Southern California, including lacrosse. And the thing about playing multiple sports is, for number one, you develop your muscles in a more well-balanced way because different sports use different muscles. And so you're getting to use all the muscles in your body versus only the muscles that, say, one sport would have you use. And then, 2, you're competing year-round, which makes you a much better competitor, something that Kyle Hurt is. So great job, Kyle Hurt, last night. Big stuff for him. And when he's in the strike zone, some of the best stuff in all the minor leagues. Sweet swinging Brandon Lewis, man. I love this young man's swing. And if you go back to 2019-2020, he was crawling all over the top 30 prospects list. He was one of the top prospects in the Dodgers organization and all the minor leagues for that matter. And then last year, just simply put, didn't have a good year offensively. He's gotten off to a slow start here in 2023. So it's great to see him break through and have a really, really nice game last night. So if you remember last time we talked about him, I talked about whenever he had flattened the barrel at slot, when I say 0 degree slot, 0 degree meaning the barrel is exactly flat, that this knob was actually pointed towards first base, which meant that he was going around the ball like that. Well, hey, check this out. There is where the barrel is exactly flat, and look at that knob pointing exactly at the baseball right there, which means that even though he's fooled by the pitch, because he gets to this position right here, he stays on time, and therefore he's able to hit the baseball hard to left field, and that is a great adjustment for Brandon Lewis. If he can keep swinging like that and then get pitches up in the zone, watch out because this young man is very, very talented. The Great Lakes Loons had only 4 hits last night and did not score, but they did get a good start from Justin Robleski, who you're seeing on the mound right here. Robleski went 6 innings, and he struck out 2, walked no one, gave up just 2 runs. This is a left-hander that a lot of Dodgers fans, maybe not know about because he's out of Oklahoma State. He had the Tommy John surgery. He came to Oklahoma State out of JUCO after first going to Clemson. That's a good little slider right there. Great play by Luis Diaz. And Justin Robleski has all the metrics. His fastball from the left side has reached as high as 98 miles an hour this year. And hey, remember, he was the pitcher of the month in the Midwest League just a minute ago. I believe it was last month for Justin Robleski, where he is the Midwest League Player of the Month. So, hey, very high on this young man. His ERA is down to 3.13. We've talked about it. Do the Dodgers need to re-sign Julio Urias or Clayton Kershaw? And we'll get into more of that, but they need to re-sign one of them because all of the left-handed starting pitching is still only at the high A level with Justin Robleski, Ronan Kopp, and then Maddox Bruns. So, hey, they're probably at least a year away from being Major League ready. You never know. We've seen Michael Grove jump straight from Double-A to the Major Leagues, and Emmett Sheehan do that as well. So, hey, maybe one of them starts in Double-A next year, and then maybe by May or June, they get called up to the major leagues. They are talented enough to do that. We'll see, but you wouldn't think the Dodgers would want to start the season next year without Julio and Clayton Kershaw, which means they would have no left-handed pitchers in their starting rotation. So I think that plays a factor as well. So Justin Wrobleski, another good start last night. Just 4 hits on the night for the Great Lakes Loons, but one of them was this double that you're seeing right here for Damon Keith. And Damon Keith, I'll tell you what, man, he has been playing very good offense as of late. This was his 16th double of the season, the young man out of Cal Baptist, and the second night in a row where he's hit a double. And he also has hits in 6 of his last 7 games and 10 of his last 12. So good job, Damon Keith. Keep raking. The breaking ball for Jack Dreyer, man. Watch this next pitch coming up. This is a really, really nice pitch from the left side right there. Man, it paints the outside corner. It just kind of hovers around that outside. You're not quite sure as a right-handed hitter if it's going to land in the strike zone or not. Then he pairs that up with that fastball that boards in down and low on your hands. There's that breaking ball again. That is a really good 2-pitch combination, which really, if you're just going 1 inning relief and you're left-handed, that's probably all you need to be very effective, in that role. So Dreyer is really catching his groove, the young man out of Iowa. He has not allowed a run in 3 outings in a row and 4 out of his last 5, and he has 10 strikeouts in his last 5.1 innings and just 1 walk. So great job, Jack Dreyer. Big-time breaking ball. Rancho Cucamonga pounded out 10 hits and 8 runs. They scored 2 in the first, 1 in the third, 5 in the fourth, and then 1 in the 10th, but it was not enough as they dropped a decision to the Lake Elsinore Storm. Jose Izada had a hit at the top of the lineup. So did Josue De Paula. De Paula went 1 for 4 last night. And then Luis Rodriguez, boy, he has been absolutely on a tear as of late. He went 3 for 5 last night. And check this out, 6 RBIs. Luis Rodriguez had 6 RBIs for Rancho last night and 3 hits. And then Wilman Diaz, he got brought up to the single-A level. He's been in the complex forever. One of the big shortstop prospects in the Dodgers system. Last year he struggled to hit, put it point blank, but Wilman Diaz, he had 3 hits last night and an RBI, went 3 for 5. And then pitching-wise, Jared Karros, he gave up 4 runs and 3 innings. He got the start. And then Yoel Ibarra came in and threw 1 2/3 innings, gave up a couple of runs, and had 5 strikeouts, though, and no walks. Calvin Ramirez, he threw 2 innings as well, gave up a couple of runs. And then Calvin Bautista came in and finished it up and got the last out. So, Rancho Cucamonga got a lot of hits, a lot of great action. Great to see Wilman Diaz, Josue De Paula, all the same lineup at the same time. Rained on Cone. So there is a lot of firepower with this Rancho Cucamonga team right now. So there you have it. I told you there was a lot of great action in the system last night. It was a very busy night. And again, if you're only going to go 2 and 3, you want your 2 wins to be at the top with Los Angeles and AAA Oklahoma City. So that's our show for you today. I hope you enjoy it. Hey, don't forget, we have Dodgers Dogs tonight. That will be live. That is 8 Central. That'll be 6 o'clock Pacific. That'll be 9 o'clock, obviously, Eastern. Again, that's live. So tune in for Dodgers Dogs. Come and join the chat, and let's have a good time as we talk Dodgers baseball. Again, that is tonight. Again, 8 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock Pacific. So, hey, hope you enjoyed today's show. The next one of these shows you'll see from me will be Friday morning. But again, we have Dodgers Dogs tonight, so I hope you tune into that one. And I hope you tune into all the rest of the shows as well. Just one last reminder, if you'd like to help Dodgers Daily, we have the link to our GoFundMe account in our description. Just click on that, and it'll take you right where you need to go to donate. Also, don't forget, leave a comment, tell all your friends about Dodgers Daily. Make sure and like this video, share this video, make sure your notifications are turned on. As always, hey, thanks for tuning in, and go Dodgers.